A few semesters ago, I had my students Google the lyrics to Dua Lipa's song New Rules before we had our conversation about the 10 Commandments. If you're not familiar with the song, it's like a breakup song where she comes up with these rules that she's going to follow to make sure she doesn't get back together with this guy. And she recites these rules in the chorus, or actually like the section right before the chorus, whatever that's called, like the pre-chorus or the bridge or whatever that is. Right before the chorus, she lists off these rules. She says, 1, don't pick up the phone. You know he's only calling because he's drunk and alone. 2, don't let him in. You'll have to kick him out again. 3, don't be his friend. You know you're going to wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. This cutesy little list of rules to follow. And then I asked the students, how many rules are there in Dua Lipa's song, New Rules? Of course, the most obvious answer that students commonly give is 3, because she counts to 3. 1, 2, 3. That makes sense. But when you're actually looking at the lyrics written out, it's usually divided into 8 lines. So maybe you can make the case that there are 8 rules, 1 for each line. You can make the more nuanced argument there's actually 4 rules, because the third rule is the only of the rules that has a conjunction in it, followed by an independent clause, as though that's its own rule, even though it's not technically counted. You can make a more complicated argument that some of these intermediary lines between the actual numbered rules are consequences for not following the rules, but perhaps they're not consequences, they're actually motive clauses, giving you reasons to follow those rules. But some of these motive clauses seem like they could be independently fulfilled, separate from the rule, in which case perhaps they should stand alone as their own rules, in which case you could get any number of rules between like 3 and 8. Anything in there might be valid. And as ridiculous as this conversation is, and it is ridiculous, it is the same kind of distinctions and the same kind of arguments and the same kind of conversation that takes place around trying to divide up the 10 Commandments. And you have different reasons to divide the 10 Commandments into 10 Commandments in Exodus 20 than you do in Deuteronomy 5, the 2 places where the most conventional list of 10 Commandments is given, because those 2 lists differ, especially in their motive clauses and in the way that they are phrased, and that gives rise to different conceptions of what the 10 Commandments are, and that might also lie partially at the base of why Protestants and Catholics often number the commandments and articulate the commandments differently. All this to say we really shouldn't be studying the Bible without Dua Lipa.